This is Sunday Sports Buzz, and I'm your host, Charlie Voelker, on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio, and the free 104.5 The Team app. Now it's time for the CDTA Campus Beat, and certainly our next guest has brought the heartbeat of experience and leadership to Siena College. After graduating from Siena, he joined the U.S. Army, served in the first Gulf War, Kosovo, and a few tours in Iraq, worked his way up to the rank of colonel, where he received 4 Bronze Stars and a Purple Heart, and then he went on to win an election against an incumbent and served 3 terms as a United States congressman. Then, that's right, there's still more. On July 1st, he became the 12th president in the history of Siena College, and I just get the feeling he's not done. Let's welcome to Sunday Sports Buzz the Siena president, Dr. Chris Gibson, and thank you, Dr. Gibson, for joining us.
Hey, Charlie, great to be with you, and thanks for your great work.
I have to say, the back of your baseball card is pretty impressive, and from everyone at Sunday Sports Buzz, I want to thank you for your service.
It's a way of life we're protecting, so it was a privilege every single day.
Dr. Gibson, you a big sports fan?
I'm a huge sports fan. Ever since I was a little kid, I played baseball and basketball. I initially grew up in Columbia County in Kinderhook, and I went to Ichabod Crane, and there I played on the varsity teams and captained those teams. So I've been following Siena sports since I was about 8th grade. So huge Siena fan all through the years, and it's just beyond words how excited I am to be in this position to help with leadership of this college.
Well, you certainly have a good basketball coach right there. He did a fantastic job for you last year in Coach Carm.
He's tremendous.
And I think you guys have a great nucleus ahead.
Well, there's no doubt. And, I could tell early on just closely observing Coach Carm and the way that he worked his players, the way he motivated his players, the way he managed the team during the game. We've got the whole package here, and I've said before, he's just a real gem, and we're lucky to have him. And I think that we are going to see our program go to a height we've never seen before. As you know, Charlie, we've made the big dance, and we've won games in the NCAA tournament, but I think you're going to see us reach a level. In fact, we have a goal here of Sweet 16 or better in the 5 years that I'm with Siena College, and I have full confidence in Coach Carm. And let me also say that Coach Alley, we're excited about our women's team as well. I know they were up and down last season. They had some good streaks. So when they were hot, they were really hot. And I know that Coach Alley is focused in this offseason. The ladies are really focused on and off the court. The ladies here are showing strong leadership across the spectrum. They're highly engaged in the voting efforts. Coach Carm's in that space as well. But I think it speaks to the kind of leadership skills that our student athletes have. Let me say one last thing on that. When we talk about leadership skills of our student athletes, they're incredible performance both on the court and in the classroom. Their GPA for our student athletes is 3.25. So you're talking, almost Dean's List average for these students, and many of them making honors. And it's even higher than the student body at large. So, and when you look across the MAC, our student athletes, we not only win games, but we really post a tremendous effort in the classroom. So I'm very proud of them.
Well, you have to be, and you really went into what I was looking to talk to you about with your vast military experience and your governmental experience. How important is leadership education to the youth today for our future tomorrow?
I think it's critically important. In fact, that's what really called me to this position right here. I've been I think, very forthright about this. My experience in Congress, it was mixed. There were some incredible days. If I had it all do again, I'd do it again. But I have to be candid with you and tell you I was frustrated with some of my experiences down there. I'm used to, from the U.S. military, we had tough missions all the time. You mentioned some of them, Iraq and Kosovo and Haiti. But, just in general, training operations, just very challenging. And so sometimes when I would sit in the cloakroom in between votes in the Congress, I'd hear from my colleagues, and they'd say, "Wow, this is hard." And, I'd look over and I would acknowledge, I'd say, look, it's challenging, but it's not hard like I've seen. No one's getting shot at today. And incidentally, you're going to get to have some hot meals and sleep in a warm bed. So, the point is that I thought we should have been more dialed in on the mission, because there were days that we just did not get it done. And the country's waiting on us. So anyways, with that frustration, that led me to, well, what should I do about that? I had term limited myself, had no intention of being a career politician. What I really wanted to do was make a difference for a period of time, represent, and then move on. And then saying to myself, what can I do? I care deeply about this country, this exceptional way of life, the remarkable possibilities of American life. What should I do? And that's what called me to teaching, is a real passion to help shape the leaders of tomorrow, because I think that's ultimately what's going to help our country. If we get more servant leaders, if we get more leaders from the Franciscan tradition in key positions, whether they be governmental positions, business positions, not-for-profit positions, I think that you're going to see this country hit potential we've never hit before. So that's really what this aspiring for this position was all about. Some people have heard me say, I think the world needs more saints, more Siena saints, because our graduates, they're known for, they're high-quality graduates, and they're empowered with the Franciscan spirit, and they're prepared to lead in their chosen fields and communities. So how important is leadership, education? I think it's really, it's everything. It's when you have a leader who is focused on the task at hand, has the right framework in terms of vision, can mobilize and communicate, and leads by example, inspires people to give their very best effort every day, that makes all the difference. You can see, and you've seen that in sports too. How many times have you heard very successful coaches say, you know what, I'll take a team of B-plus talent if they're all working together and fully committed to the goal, because they'll perform at the A level. It's really about teamwork, and teamwork really comes from leadership.
This is Sunday Sports Buzz, and we're talking to the president of Siena College and former U.S. Congressman, Dr. Chris Gibson. And Dr. Gibson, let's talk about college athletics now. When you were in the Army and you were in Congress, did you come across people that were former student athletes that were either easier to train or easier to get the concept of being a team and achieve those goals?
Well, absolutely. I mean, when I would meet veterans in Congress and former student athletes, what they're used to is that they're used to being conditioned, right? I mean, they know that they have to prepare. I mean, as Coach Vince Lombardi once said, I'm not a Packers fan. I'm a Jets fan. If you're not a New York Jets fan, then I don't recommend taking up the habit, because it's a tough one to have.
Hey, you and me both. You and me both. Yeah. We're there together.
Yeah. But even as a Jets fan, I always admired, the way that Lombardi prepared his teams. In fact, he said that. He said, look, they asked him what was the secret of his success. He said, look, many Americans have the will to win. He said, but fewer have the will to prepare to win, and that's really the difference. And so that's in Congress and in other places. I mean, when I would serve with other veterans and student athletes, they understood that. And so I think this is a key piece, but it's also why even on the campus here, when I look at my student athletes, it's not surprising to me that they do well in the classroom and they help us. These are very challenging times for our country, and there are certainly hard times on campuses, and this is why you look at the social media space, and you'll see my student athletes they're in that space, and they're providing, I think, important leadership to for their colleagues, and really there's something we can all take as far as inspiration. So I'm actually excited. I'm teaching this semester too. In addition to being the president of the college, I'm also still a professor of leadership, and I'm teaching a course on leadership and political change. And I've got Jordan and Watts from our men and women's basketball teams respectively going to be in my classroom, and a bunch of other folks too. But I'm excited to really work with them, roll our sleeves up, because it's in essence, that's the approach I take in my classroom is it's all about development. It is about mentoring. And so that means, yes, you got to put in time. You got to do your homework. You got to work towards knowledge, but then it's practice. So, my assignments in the course actually are oriented towards their own development. They identify a role model, somebody who really really inspires them, and they use an evaluative framework to assess that leader. But then the whole point is to turn inward. So after taking the Myers-Briggs personality test, they look at ways to channel their hero to more effectively lead. And so, and those are specifics there. So I give them examples on how to do that. And that's the whole first exercise. And then the second exercise is picking an issue area that they're very passionate about, and they select it. And then, we work with them on how to develop strategies to effectuate that change. And that comes through the various sections in the course. So this is very oriented towards developing leaders. And so in that way, it's complementary to what our coaches are doing out there. Is what we're doing in the classroom. It all gets towards leadership. And that's what made the difference for me. I think about, you asked me about my experiences in high school and playing athletics, and it certainly hard-nosed competition, all that stuff was preparatory for me. But it was really my experience here at Siena that helped forge my leadership for a lifetime. The Friars played a key role in character development and to discipline, and the professors as far as dealing with ambiguity and, doing robust analysis before taking a good decision and then being able to implement that. All of that helped me. When I went out, when I was serving in combat and then in peace enforcement missions and then in humanitarian relief operations, the education that I got here at Siena College was formative for me and really put me in a strong position to make a difference in life.
Well, Siena is lucky to have you. That is the CDTA Campus Beat, Dr. Chris Gibson, the 12th president of Siena College. Thank you for joining us this morning on Sunday Sports Buzz, and the best of health and happiness to you and your family. You are welcome to come on this show and talk New York Jets anytime you want to come on with me.
And Mets, by the way. I'm also, the Jets often comes with that affliction.
We got to hang out together.
Because we just can't have enough pain. We got to put them together.
Hey, they're character builders. That's what they are. They're character builders.
A lot of that. So listen, Charlie, thank you so very much. Best wishes to all the listeners out there, and go Saints.
That's Siena's president, Dr. Chris Gibson, a very good guy, a Met fan, a Jet fan. You got to love that. And you got to love the CDTA Campus Beat. CDPHP Cycle is back. The region's bike share program driven by CDTA has returned. Ride safe, ride smart with daily cleanings and on-bike hand sanitizer for less than 10 cents per minute. Visit cdphpcycle.com for bike rack locations and membership options.